Right now, at this very moment, somewhere deep inside your body, an organ nobody thinks about until it screams for help is working harder than it should be, filtering through 200 liters of blood every single day, silently, without complaint, without warning. And here is what haunts me. By the time you feel something wrong, by the time your doctor finally catches it in a blood test, you have already lost something you will never get back. I am Dr. Marcus Reed. For 23 years, I have watched this pattern repeat. Intelligent people, careful people, people doing everything they thought was right, arrive at my office with lab results that shock them. Kidney function so damaged that options have collapsed, and not a single symptom that warned them in time. Today, I am going to show you something different. 4 specific threats, moving from most overlooked to most dangerous. The science is clear. The path forward is clearer. Stay with me for the next 30 minutes because what I am about to walk you through may be the conversation that changes everything. But first, a simple question for the comments below. Have you ever had your kidney function tested? Your GFR, your creatinine, your urine albumin? Just type yes or no. I read these, and I need to know who is starting from awareness and who is flying blind. Listen, your kidneys are different from every other organ in your body. Here is why that matters. Most organs send pain signals when something is wrong. Your heart aches, your back screams, your brain fog tells you something is off. But your kidneys, they have almost no nerve endings. They can lose 70% of their function, and you feel fine, maybe tired, maybe a little puffy in the ankles, but nothing that says emergency. That silence is a trap, especially if you are over 55. And here is something nobody talks about plainly. Your kidney function has been declining since your 30s. It is just a fact of biology. By the time you reach 65, your kidneys are already operating at reduced capacity. That means when you expose them to harm, they have less tolerance, less margin, less ability to recover. Think of it this way. You have a savings account. When you are young, the account is full. You can afford to withdraw, to waste a little. But when you are older and that account is half depleted, every withdrawal matters, every choice matters. So what is draining that account? What are we actually doing to our kidneys without realizing it? That is exactly what we are here to uncover. I am going to walk you through a hierarchy of kidney threats, starting with the ones people recognize, moving to the one that almost nobody talks about, the one that is likely sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, hiding behind a health halo, disguised as something nutritious, something protective. Let us start with threat number 4, the pill you trust too much. Here's a scene I watch play out dozens of times a month. Your lower back aches, your knees have been tender. The arthritis flares up when the weather turns cold, so you reach for the bottle. Orange plastic, a label you have read 1,000 times, and you take one, maybe 2, and you feel better. You have been doing this for months or years. Why not? It is over the counter. The pharmacist never questioned it. The label says safe for adults, right there on the bottle. But here is what the label does not tell you. I am talking about non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. NSAIDs, ibuprofen, naproxen, some of the most widely used medications on the entire planet. And in older adults who use them regularly, they are one of the most underappreciated threats to kidney health I see in practice. Let me explain the mechanism, and I promise I will make this clear. Inside your kidneys, there are microscopic blood vessels, tiny tubes. These tubes are kept open and healthy by signaling molecules called prostaglandins. Think of prostaglandins as traffic controllers. They keep blood flowing smoothly through your kidney's filtration system. NSAIDs work by blocking prostaglandins throughout the body. That is how they reduce inflammation. That is how they kill pain. It works brilliantly for that purpose. But NSAIDs block prostaglandins everywhere, including in your kidneys. And when that happens, those tiny vessels constrict. Blood flow drops. The filters called nephrons start running on low oxygen. It is like a city experiencing a rolling blackout. For hours, then days, then weeks. Take one pill after a hard day and your kidneys bounce back. No problem. But take one every single day for weeks, months, years, and something different happens. The blackouts accumulate. Scar tissue forms. Nephrons, once destroyed, do not regenerate. They are gone forever. And here is who is most at risk. Older adults. Anyone with even mildly reduced kidney function, anyone with high blood pressure, anyone with diabetes, anyone taking blood pressure medications because certain combinations amplify the damage dramatically. Now I need to tell you about Margaret. She is 72 years old, a retired nurse practitioner from North Carolina. She spent 35 years helping other people manage their health, and for the last 5 years she was taking ibuprofen almost every single day, not recklessly. She was careful. 200 milligrams, sometimes 400, nothing extreme by modern standards. Her lower back had deteriorated from decades of standing, and the pills helped her stay active, helped her garden, helped her chase after grandchildren. Then one routine checkup, her kidney numbers dropped, not slightly, significantly. Her GFR went from 78 down to 48 in just 18 months. Her nephrologist sat down with her and said the same thing I have said to dozens of patients. The NSAIDs have to stop. And we have to understand what your baseline kidney function actually is. Margaret told me later that moment was the scariest health conversation of her life. Not because she was in danger of needing dialysis immediately, but because she realized that something she thought was harmless had been harming her for years, in silence, and she had no idea. Now, before we move on, I need you to understand something. If you are taking NSAIDs regularly for chronic pain, I am not telling you to stop suddenly. I am telling you to talk to your doctor. Ask about your kidney function, know your GFR baseline, then explore alternatives. Physical therapy, targeted exercise, heat and cold. In some cases, acetaminophen taken correctly is gentler on the kidneys. The point is this: pain management should never become a silent kidney problem. One problem solved by creating another is not a solution. If you are finding this information useful so far, pause for just a second. Hit that like button. It tells me this is reaching the people who need it. Let us move to threat number 3, the dehydration you do not feel. Now this one surprises people every single time. As we age, one of the most significant but least discussed changes in the human body is this: your thirst mechanism becomes less reliable. When you are young and your body needs water, the brain sends a clear signal. You feel thirsty, you drink. Balance restored. Simple. But by the time you reach your 60s and 70s, that signal gets quieter, delayed. Sometimes it does not show up at all until you are already significantly dehydrated. This is a kidney emergency hiding in plain sight. Your kidneys need a constant, steady river of fluid to function. When you are dehydrated, even mildly dehydrated chronically, that river slows to a trickle. The concentration of waste products rises. Your kidneys have to work harder to filter less fluid, and the urine becomes more concentrated. Do you know what happens when urine is highly concentrated? Crystal formation becomes likely. Calcium oxalate crystals, kidney stones, one of the most common and painful kidney problems in older adults. But the damage goes deeper than stones. Chronic mild dehydration keeps your kidneys under persistent low-level stress. Over years, this stress contributes to gradual erosion of kidney function. You discover it years later in lab results, with no single identifiable cause, just time and too many days of not enough water. I think about a patient I saw last year, Harold, 69 years old, a retired construction worker from Georgia. He had always drunk coffee in the morning and maybe some sweet tea in the afternoon, but actual water, pure water, he did not really think about it. When I asked him how much water he drank daily, he said almost none. Maybe a glass if he remembered. The rest was coffee and tea and occasionally a juice. His kidneys had lost function at twice the normal rate for his age. When I explained that his kidneys had been running dry for years, that he was likely experiencing chronic kidney disease despite not knowing it, something clicked for him. He started drinking water seriously. A glass before coffee, a glass with lunch, a glass mid-afternoon, a glass with dinner. Nothing extreme, just intentional. 6 months later, his kidney function stabilized. Not completely restored. You do not recover lost function. But he stopped the decline, and he stayed ahead of the disease. Here is my prescription for this one. Stop waiting to feel thirsty. If you are thirsty, you are already behind. Instead, build hydration into your routine like you brush your teeth, not based on sensation. A glass of water first thing in the morning before coffee. A glass with every meal. One mid-morning, one mid-afternoon. Check your urine. It should be pale. Pale straw yellow. If it is dark, your body is sending you a message. And one more thing I need to be clear about. Coffee, tea, sugary drinks, alcohol. These are not water. Some actively pull fluid from your body. When we talk about hydration, we mean water. Plain, simple, non-negotiable water. This one is free. It is easy, and it may be the simplest thing you can do today to protect your kidneys. Do not underestimate it. Now, threat number 2. The protein trap. This is where it gets really interesting. And this is the threat that causes the most confusion because it is wrapped in something that sounds healthy. You have heard your whole life that protein is good for you, strong muscles, better recovery, more energy. And yes, protein is essential, especially for older adults battling muscle loss. We call it sarcopenia, the gradual weakening that comes with aging. But here is what the wellness industry does not tell you with enough emphasis. High protein consumption, especially from certain sources, especially in large, unregulated amounts, forces your kidneys to work significantly harder. Maybe the hardest of all the stressors we are going to talk about today. Let me explain why. When your body breaks down protein, it produces nitrogen-containing waste products. The primary one is called urea. Your kidneys are solely responsible for filtering urea out of your blood and excreting it in your urine. More protein consumed equals more urea produced equals more filtration work for your kidneys. In a young, healthy person with fully functioning kidneys, this is not necessarily a crisis. But in older adults with reduced kidney capacity or anyone with already compromised kidney function, flooding the system with excessive protein is like asking an overworked filtration plant to handle double the volume with half the staff. The research is clear enough that even conservative medical guidelines recommend that people with chronic kidney disease significantly reduce protein intake. But here is the twist that catches people off guard. This does not mean avoid protein. It means be thoughtful. Plant-based proteins from beans, lentils, tofu. These are processed more gently by the kidneys than large daily servings of red meat or ultra-concentrated protein powders. The protein powder market is booming right now, especially among older adults who want to maintain muscle. That is an area where I often see people unknowingly create strain. No one needs 200 grams of protein a day. Work with your doctor. Find what is appropriate for your body weight. For your kidney function, get tested. Know your numbers. If you love your protein shake, make sure it is not the only conversation you are having about your kidney health. Now we arrive at threat number 1. The hidden kitchen killer, the thing I consider the most widespread, most overlooked, most insidious kidney threat of all. And here is what makes it so maddening. It is hiding behind a health halo. It is masquerading as something nutritious. It shows up on labels next to words like natural, organic, heart healthy, clean eating. I am talking about excessive dietary oxalate, specifically the kind that comes from certain foods that health-conscious older adults eat every single day, believing they are doing their bodies a favor. Let me explain what oxalate is, because I can almost guarantee you have never heard this explained clearly before. Oxalates are naturally occurring compounds found in plants. Plants produce them as a kind of defense mechanism. Your body also produces small amounts as a byproduct of normal metabolism. Under normal circumstances, most dietary oxalate binds to calcium in your gut, gets escorted out in your stool, never causes a problem. But when oxalate absorption is too high, due to diet or gut issues or reduced kidney clearance, it gets absorbed into your bloodstream, and then your kidneys have to deal with it. Here is what happens next. Oxalate in your blood gets filtered into your urine. Inside your kidney's filtration system, oxalate loves to bind to calcium. And when calcium and oxalate combine in the wrong concentration, they crystallize. Those crystals are what we call calcium oxalate kidney stones, the most common type of kidney stone by far, affecting roughly 80% of all kidney stone cases. But the stone itself is just the acute, painful event. That is just what gets you to the emergency room. The deeper, quieter damage happens before the stone ever forms. Oxalate crystals, even microscopic ones, deposit in the kidney tissue itself. They cause local inflammation. They trigger scarring. They damage the tubules, the tiny passages where filtration actually happens. Over time, this contributes to something called oxalate nephropathy, a pattern of progressive kidney damage that looks in lab results like unexplained slow kidney decline, like your kidney function is simply aging faster than it should. Now, here is the concerning part. Who is eating the most high oxalate foods right now? Health-conscious older adults, the very people trying hardest to protect their health, because the foods highest in oxalate are the exact ones constantly promoted as superfoods. Spinach. Let me be specific. 1 cup of cooked spinach contains more oxalate than most people should consume in a full day. That is not an exaggeration. That is a fact from agricultural research. Almonds and almond products, almond milk, almond flour, almond butter. Almonds have become pantry staples in health-conscious households, and they are exceptionally high in oxalate. Beets, raw, roasted, juiced, beloved by the health community, extremely high in oxalate. Sweet potatoes, Swiss chard, rhubarb, dark chocolate, cocoa powder, instant oatmeal made from certain varieties. I am not here to tell you these foods are poison in every situation. For a person with healthy kidneys and a varied diet and proper hydration, they can be part of a healthy eating pattern. But for older adults, especially those with any history of kidney stones, anyone over 60 with reduced kidney function, or anyone who has been eating large daily servings of these foods for years, the cumulative oxalate load may be doing serious harm that no one has connected to their kidney numbers. And here is what genuinely troubles me as a physician focused on prevention. These people went looking for health. They read the articles. They watched the videos. They bought the organic spinach, the almond milk, the dark chocolate. They were trying their best, and no one told them that for their specific situation, some of those choices were working against them. Let me tell you about Dorothy. She is 71 years old, a retired librarian and former hospice nurse from Massachusetts. For the last 8 years, she had been deeply committed to what she called clean eating. Every morning started with a green smoothie, 1 cup of raw spinach, almond milk, cacao powder for antioxidants, half an almond butter for protein. She did this 5 days a week, believing she was investing in her longevity. 3 years into this routine, she developed her first kidney stone, severe pain. The emergency room, the passing, the relief when it was over. 3 months later, another one. When she finally came to see me, she was frustrated. She said, "I am doing everything right. Why is this happening to me?" I ordered a GFR test and urine oxalate analysis. Her kidney function had declined from normal to mildly reduced, and her urinary oxalate was 3 times the upper limit of normal. I showed her the oxalate content in her morning smoothie. She had been consuming roughly 500 to 600 milligrams of oxalate per day, every single day, for 8 years. Her kidneys had been crystallizing this entire time. We changed her smoothie, started using kale instead of spinach, switched to oat milk instead of almond milk, removed the cacao powder, added a small glass of plain yogurt at breakfast to increase calcium absorption. She has not had a stone in 18 months, and her kidney function has stabilized. So, what do we do? I told you at the start that my goal is not to scare you. It is to arm you with tools that work. So let me give you 5 specific changes, starting with the oxalate issue. Step 1, variety over volume. The single most powerful change you can make with high oxalate foods is rotate them rather than eating them daily. A spinach smoothie 7 days a week is completely different from spinach twice a week. Swap it out. Kale is significantly lower in oxalate. Arugula, romaine, cabbage, all great alternatives. You do not have to give up spinach. You have to stop letting it be the only green in your life. Step 2. Always pair high oxalate foods with calcium. This is critical, and almost nobody talks about it. When you eat calcium-rich food at the same meal as high oxalate food, something powerful happens. The calcium binds to the oxalate in your gut before it ever gets absorbed into your bloodstream. It leaves in your stool, not your kidneys. This is why the old advice to avoid dairy if you have kidney stones was actually backwards. Eat your spinach salad with some cheese or a glass of milk. Eat your dark chocolate with a small serving of yogurt. Timing and pairing matter enormously. Step 3. Hydrate aggressively. Water dilutes urinary oxalate. It keeps the concentration low enough that crystals are less likely to form. Aim for urine that is pale, not dark. This is your daily at-home kidney health test, and it costs nothing. Step 4. Get your kidney function tested. If you are over 55 and you do not know your GFR, glomerular filtration rate, and your urine albumin level, that is your assignment this month. These are routine blood and urine tests. They give you a baseline. They tell you where your kidneys actually are, not where you assume they are. Knowledge is protective in a way that no supplement or superfood can replicate. Step 5. Reconsider your supplementation. Vitamin C in very high doses, above 1,000 milligrams daily, converts to oxalate in the body. Many older adults are taking high-dose vitamin C supplements thinking it is harmless or even beneficial. If you are taking more than 500 milligrams of vitamin C daily, talk to your doctor about your kidney function before continuing. Now, I need to add something critical here about expectations. If you implement these changes starting today, here is what happens. Week 1, you will drink more water. Your bathroom trips might increase. Your urine will likely be clearer than before. Do not be alarmed. This is your kidneys rinsing out. This is good. Your appetite might change slightly. Some people feel a little different just from hydration changes alone. Week 2, your energy might improve. Remember Margaret. She told me that week 2 was when she first felt lighter. But your kidney numbers do not change this fast. Do not expect lab results to shift dramatically. Week 3. And this is important. Week 3 is often when consistency pays off most visibly. Your routine becomes automated. You are not thinking about drinking water anymore. You are just doing it. Breakfast without NSAIDs feels normal. Spinach salad with cheese becomes second nature. Week 4 and beyond. That is when habits solidify. And that is when kidneys actually start to show response if there has been any early damage. But listen to me carefully. Your kidneys regenerate very slowly. If you have already lost function, you do not recover that. You prevent further loss. That is the goal. Stopping the decline, preserving what you have left. Now, before I finish, I need to address something I think you are wondering. What if I have already had a kidney stone? What if my GFR is already low? Is it too late? The answer is no. It is never too late to slow decline. It is never too late to prevent the next crisis. But you must have that conversation with your doctor. Do not guess. Do not assume. Get tested. If you are taking NSAIDs regularly for pain management, talk to your doctor before continuing. Do not stop suddenly, but have the conversation. Drink water before you feel thirsty. Build it into your routine. And if you are using protein supplements, know your amounts. Know your kidney numbers first. Here is what I need you to understand. Your kidneys are working for you right now. Every second you have been watching this video, they have been filtering, balancing, protecting. They have been doing this for 50 years, 60 years, maybe 80 years, without asking for a single thing in return. What we owe them is awareness. We owe them the basic understanding of what helps them and what harms them. Because the threats we talked about today, the trusted pill taken too often, the dehydration you do not feel, the protein excess, the oxalate hiding behind the health halo. None of them are inevitable. None of them are beyond your control. You can rotate your vegetables. You can pair your foods more wisely. You can drink an extra glass of water in the morning. You can ask your doctor for a simple blood test. These are not dramatic changes, but they are the kind of changes that compound over months and years into something extraordinary. A body that stays functional, independent, full of life, into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. That is what preventive medicine is about, not waiting for the crisis, choosing to act before it arrives. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, had you ever heard about oxalate and kidney health before today? Were you surprised by any of the foods we mentioned? Let me know, because your comments help shape what we cover next on this channel. If this video opened your eyes, do one thing for me. Share it with someone you care about, a spouse, a sibling, a friend who has been juicing spinach every morning thinking they are doing something great for themselves. This information could genuinely change the direction of someone's health story. And if you want more content like this, clear, honest, practical health information designed specifically for those of us who have earned a little wisdom, make sure you are subscribed and have the notification bell turned on. We are here every week. I am Dr. Marcus Reed. Thank you for spending this time investing in the most important thing you own, your health. Take care of those kidneys. They have been taking care of you your whole life. See you in the next one.